Greetings hobbyists, this is Arslanzavul, and in this video we're going to have a look at how to bend an object, such as making a shield, and importantly how to be able to efficiently add detail to this object before you do the bend and still be able to use the bend modifier. So before I go any further, you are going to need to have HardOps to be able to do this. We use a tool that HardOps has that is really important for this process, as you will see later. So let's get going. So if we just bring in a cube here, I want to have my cube 18 across because that's going to be the size of my shield in terms of width. And let's make this a little bit smaller. I'm actually going to go to the dimensions up here because I know I want it to be just over 1.5 millimeters wide. So I'm going to change that to 1.5, and as always, Control A and apply the scale. So this is going to use a relatively simple modifier that I'm going to start with straight away just so you've seen it, but then I'm going to go into some problems, especially with adding details. So this uses a relatively simple modifier called the bend modifier, and there's a few things that we have to be careful with when using this, and the first is that we need quite a lot of geometry for this, especially if we want something to bend smoothly. So I'm going to put in a lot of edge loops here by just clicking Control and R and using my mouse wheel to scroll up, and I'm going to put in a good load of edge loops here, and then I'm going to press escape to make sure they're nice and central, and then go back into object mode, and we'll have a look at the basics of this modifier. So modifier properties, add modifier, and we want to go to the simple deform option. And you'll see this makes a bit of a mess because it automatically comes on the twist modifier. We want the bend modifier. Now at the moment it's not exactly bending anywhere. That's because it's trying to bend it on the x-axis, which if I use my gimbal here is that way. We don't want to bend it that way. We would like to bend it on the z-axis. So we need to change it to z. And you'll see straight away we flex this object along each of the vertices that was there. When I apply this, you'll see what I mean. And if I up the angle, we get more of a bend, which is great, nice and easy to do. So a very, very quick and easy modifier. And if I apply all, you can see that it is bent on each of these edge loops. Now, just something to be aware of, I do really want my edge loops to be nice and equally spaced. For example, if I start moving them around, for example, if I move that on there, and here, and just combine them together, you'll notice that what's happening here is that I don't have the geometry for this to bend round. So if I tab and go into object mode, we can see it hasn't flexed or it hasn't bent around the area that didn't have the geometry. Because of this, a lot of times people will use the bend modifier straight away to get this object, and then they'll add the detail on the top, trying to conform the detail to the bending object, which works, but it gets a little bit long-winded because you're going to start having to use modifiers like the shrink wrap modifier, and that can be a little painful when really it's a lot easier just to do the bend at the end once you've got all the detail on it. So let's have a look at how to do that. So I'm just going to add some very basic details to this. The shield that was shown at the beginning obviously shows a lot more details just to show what you can do with this. So let's stretch this on the z-axis to make it a little bit wider, and let's make something like a boarding shield. So I'm first of all just going to select each of these edges, Control and B. I'm just going to put in a chamfer there to make those a little bit more interesting. So this is going to be easier with box cutter and HardOps, so I'm going to use that. So I'm going to press Alt and W to activate box cutter. Let's cut out a box there, and I'm going to cut out another box somewhere here for where we'd put the weapon through and be able to sort of move it around. I'm going to press Tab and let's bevel those edges a little bit, and let's put that through. So that's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to apply those, and then let's add a few more details. Let's go to face mode and let's insert this. So we can do something like that. So we can add in a bit of trim. I'm going to press E to extrude that inwards, so we've got a bit of detail there. And let's add something which is the bit that could cause a problem. So let's start adding in something like a space for our icon. So let's press Shift A and let's bring in a cylinder. I'm going to up the vertices to, let's say, 128. Rotate it on the x-axis by 90. So RX and then 90. And then let's scale that up. So I'm going to have something that's sort of about that big, which is where my iconography would go on. Now let's put that a little bit lower, G and Z. Maybe let's make it a bit bigger. And then let's fix these so it doesn't overlap. I probably should have done this earlier, but that's all right. And press W to get out of box cutter, select those vertices, and G and Z. And this is one of the reasons why this is quite good to do all of this stuff early. It makes everything easier to modify if you don't like it. Let's G and Z that down. And then, yeah, that looks about right. And we're going to have to scale that with S on the Y-axis. Let's do something like that. Let's just go into face mode and make sure it's not sticking out the back. So G and Y, bring that forward. And let's insert that and press E to extrude that inwards a little bit, but not as far as the shield. So looking pretty good. Obviously, we could add in a lot more detail here. In fact, I'm going to move that down slightly. And let's add something else. Let's put something where we could put some text in later at the top. So I'm going to bring another cube. Let's scale it on the Z. Scale it on the X. G and Z. That could go somewhere at the top, so everyone can see the name of the person that's killing them. And then we're going to scale it on the Y-axis. Something like that. And G and Y to bring it out a little bit. And let's just make this a little bit more interesting. Go into edge mode, Control R, Control B to put those out to the side. And then Alt select each one. Control B, put that up to 3. And then Alt select the middle one. Shift Alt the other one. And then S and Z. And we'll bring that in so we've got some detailing there. And then we need to go into object mode. Apply the scale, so Control A, scale, and then we can go back into face mode and select those faces and I to inset those so that they're a bit further back. So we've got a few bits here. Obviously, we could add way more detail here, but the important bit is that when we combine these together, so that object, and that object, I'm going to use Ball Tools, Control Plus. If you don't have Ball Tools, it's just Edit, Preferences, and then when you go to Add-ons, click Ball, and select that. It allows you to just press Control and Plus on the numpad to add things together, and then we want to apply those. Let's hide that and hide that. So we've got this object, and before, to be able to bend this efficiently, we just put in some loop cuts. But now, if I try to, Blender's not going to let me put in loop cuts because this isn't quads anymore. It's got lots and lots of n-gons. It's not great in terms of topology. So that is going to cause issues. So how are we going to put in these loop cuts? If I select the object and I've got hard ops, I can just press Q, Mesh Tools, and then go to Dice. And what that will do is bring up a dice. Okay, and essentially it's on an axis and you just use your mouse wheel to change it, and you can flick between axes using your cursor. So basically the more you move away, it sort of filters through. So that's on the y-axis, that's on the x-axis, that's on the z-axis. Just going back, I want the x-axis, and we essentially want as many of these as we can get. So I'm going to go up relatively high, something like that. And now if I go back into edge mode, you can see this has cut all of this object up like I'd put in lots of edge loops, but it's ignored the fact that this doesn't have quads to cut through. So now if I go to object, add modifier, simple to form, bend, z-axis, and change the flex, you'll notice that it is curving or bending all of these objects really nicely. And you could put whatever detail you wanted on here, for example, text or iconography or some sort of filigree or something like that, and it will bend it perfectly. And when you apply that, you've got this object with your shield fully formed, and you could put something behind it for the character or model to hold on to. So really quick and easy. One final thing I thought it best to comment on for the bend tool is that in this configuration where we're not doing it around something, which you can do, the bend tool is very susceptible to changes in the origin of the object that you're bending. For example, here, this has worked very well because I haven't moved the original object around. The origin is dead center in it. But if I just go up to the options and make it so that we can transform the origin and press G to move it around, you can see if I move this along the y-axis, this is going to have big effects where it's going to do things like stretching and elongating objects. Now, sometimes you can manipulate this into ways that you want. If I just undo that and press, for example, G and X, you can see what that's doing here is it's changing the way things are bending slightly, and in some instances can cause a lot of issues. This is more rotated than anything else in this instance, but it is actually having an effect slightly on how it's bent as well. So do make sure that your origin is right dead center in the object that you're looking to bend, or at least that it is in the center of the object where you're looking to bend it in terms of the way that you want it to bend. For example, this is affecting the X and the Y axis because it's bending it on the Z. So I need to make sure that it's very centered in the X and Y of the object. And if I turn this off, you can see how centered this was and why that is working well without any problems. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found something useful, and even if you already knew how to use the bend tool, I hope that you being able to use the dice setting showed you something a little bit new.